Businesses must quickly adapt to change, innovate in order to grow. To support them, they need a partner who can effectively engage with the company and its people, a business partner that's agile, a partner who provides them with responsive and pragmatic solutions, and can provide services in the most efficient and effective manner.
The business climate is changing and changing fast.
It's not about conforming with the times. It's being able to innovate before the rest of your competition catches up.
We have built a corporate culture based on understanding what our clients truly need. It's understanding their specific business needs, their goals, their culture, even their hopes and aspirations.
Each of our clients receives the dedication and attention of senior professionals who ask the right questions, listen, and provide real insight and a clear point of view.
We go above and beyond and recommend ways to make business better.
In the past decade, we become more and more part of the global economy. With information and communication, businesses are more in touch with each other, with global trends, and with global ways of thinking.
We're part of Grant Thornton International, a global network of over 200 firms.
You want partners that care a lot about their people, providing training, development, and enrichment to keep them at top of their game and at the cutting edge of change.
And who will deliver 101% each time, every time.
We have empowered our teams to make these decisions for our clients and have removed complex and time-consuming chains of commands.
You need a partner you can trust.
Over 25 years of trusted service to Philippine business.
You need a partner who shares the same drive and vision of excellence, integrity, and professionalism.
We've been asked too many times, what do we do for a business? We add value.
You need a partner who's in touch with the world. You need a partner who knows what you need.
Customized solutions to the exact needs of the business.
Welcome to the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, the country's first Polytechnic U. PUP is a state-run university governed by Republic Act 8292, known as the Higher Education Modernization Act of 1997, and its implementing rules and regulations contained in the Commission on Higher Education Memorandum Circular No. 4, Series of 1997. It is home to more than 70,000 students, making it the largest state university in the Philippines in terms of student population. It is the university's commitment to give qualified and talented students access to quality and responsive education to aid them in the achievement of their dreams and the improvement of their lives. True to its commitment of making education accessible to all, the university has strategically established campuses and branches all over Luzon. PUP boasts of its roster of 1,483 full-time and part-time faculty members and 707 administrative employees. The faculty and employees perform the collective goal of training, servicing, and supporting the university's stakeholders. From its humble beginnings in 1904, PUP was originally established as the Manila Business School, primarily for the training of personnel for government service and to provide skills needed for private employment. 4 years later, the Manila Business School was renamed Philippine School of Commerce, or PSC, and merged with the Philippine Normal School from 1933 to 1946. Through the virtue of Republic Act 778, PSC was renamed the Philippine College of Commerce, or PCC, in 1952. In April 1, 1978, PCC was converted into a chartered state university now known as the Polytechnic University of the Philippines by virtue of Presidential Decree Number 1341 issued by the President of the Republic of the Philippines. PUP truly has come a long way from a business school to a premier polytechnic university, the very first in the country. Every year, around 50,000 graduating high school students, mostly from economically challenged families, take the Polytechnic University of the Philippines College Entrance Test, or PUP set, and hope to become one of the 10,000 who will be given a chance to be new PUPians. At present, the university offers more than 80 programs in the graduate and undergraduate levels with its strategic direction of making the colleges vertically articulated. Graduate School, College of Accountancy and Finance, College of Arts and Letters, College of Architecture and Fine Arts, College of Business Administration, College of Communication, College of Computer and Information Sciences, College of Education, College of Engineering, College of Law, College of Political Science and Public Administration, College of Social Sciences and Development, College of Science, College of Tourism, Hospitality and Transportation Management, College of Human Kinetics, Institute of Technology. PUP further strengthens its open university system through expanded tertiary education equivalency and accreditation program and the non-traditional system program. It caters to borderless educational system that aims to reach many learners as possible. For more than a century of existence, countless outstanding achievements have raised PUP to the level of a national comprehensive university. With the vision to transform the university into an epistemic community, PUP subscribes to the idea that a university should have an extensive research and extension development culture. Proof to this are numerous research undertakings of the university. Each year, PUP surpasses national passing rate in licensure examinations and ranks among the top in different academic disciplines. has also institutionalized academic exchange and international cooperation with various countries all over the world through its Office of International Affairs. Today, PUP is relishing its successes, and its students are enjoying unprecedented academic opportunities, an enhanced campus environment, upgraded colleges, state-of-the-art technology, and nationally and internationally recognized programs. It has gone far from what it was more than a century ago. This is mainly due to the support given by the government, the PUP community, and its benefactors. With the combined efforts, PUP will continue to be a partner in nation building and in poverty alleviation for the marginalized sector of the society, with quality, responsive, and relevant education as a tool. PUP, the country's first polytechnic youth.
Noon pa man, malaki na ang naging bahagi ng mga kababaihan sa lipunang Pilipino. Kaisa sila sa marubdob na paghahangad ng kalayaan ng ating lahi. Kabilang sila sa paglinang ng ating makulay na sining at mayamang kultura. Kasapi sila sa pagtataguyod ng mga adhikain ng kapwa mamamayan at sa pagtugon sa mga pangangailangan ng lipunan. Katuwang sila sa pagtuklas sa mga larangan ng agham at medisina. Kapanalig sila sa pagpapairal ng batas, karapatan at katarungan para sa lahat. Kabahagi sila sa paglilingkod sa bayan at sa pagpapanatili ng demokrasyang Pilipino. Sa paglipas ng panahon, hindi nagmaliw ang kanilang pag-ibig sa ating inang bayan. Mga kababayan, ito ang alay ng mga kababaihang Pilipino para sa bayan. Tumayo po tayong lahat at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Ayaw Good morning. Good morning to all of us. Good morning to all of us. Welcome to BALIK SINTANG PAARALAN, the PUP webinar series. I am Professor Carlos A. Garcia, and it is my honor to be your MC in today's event. First and foremost, I would like to greet the presence of everyone, especially our speakers and participants for making this event possible, hoping that everybody feels well at this point in time. And to give us the opening remarks, it is always my prestige to introduce the Assistant to the Vice President for Student Affairs and Services, as well as the Director of Alumni Relations and Career Development Office. Join me in welcoming my immediate superior, Engineer Lorinda H. Oquindo.
Okay, good morning to everybody. On behalf of the Vice President for Student Affairs and Services, I'll be doing the opening remarks because at the moment, she's stuck in a traffic. So I would like to acknowledge the participation of each and everyone, for without your presence, this webinar will not come into a reality. Hoping that everyone feels great at this point in time. Despite of the present situation, we appreciate the sharing of your precious time to grace this webinar. The pandemic has affected millions of people that hindered trade and industry and even claimed lives as some countries exert their efforts to produce a vaccine. But this situation will not hinder us to disseminate information by having contingency measures, and one of this is through webinar. Although this event is through virtual, we know that you acquire the same quality of information as in face-to-face. Thanks for the technology that it has made our lives easier in terms of access to information. Keep safe and always remember the best vaccine against the virus, which is prayer. Good morning once again, and hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that inspirational as well. Thank you very much for that inspiring and very nice opening remarks. Before we proceed with our first speaker, allow me to give you a bird's eye view on the virtual etiquette in today's webinar. Please keep your microphones on mute. Interact with us through the chat box. And gentle reminders for participating in today's webinar. Our webinar has two sessions. The first session will be Basic Accounting. Our second session, Professional Regulation Commission Career Progression, and Specialization Program Initiative. Attendees will be given the opportunity to ask questions at the end of each session. Attendees via Zoom may use the chat box located at the lower part of the screen. Kindly type your name, for this shall serve as your cue for the open forum at the end of each session. Attendees via Facebook live stream, YouTube live screen may send their questions, comments on the comment section. Digital certificate will be released 2 to 3 weeks after the conduct and be given to those who attended and participated as well accomplished the evaluation form given at the end of the session. The link of the certificate and evaluation form will be flashed in the comment box during or after the conduct. It will also be posted. The form will be accessible only 4 hours after the webinar. And now we're going to proceed with our first speaker for today. Our first speaker for today would talk on basic accounting. She's a graduate of Chicago Booth Executive Development Program from University of Chicago, Graduate School of Business, Management Development Program, AIM, and Bachelor of Accountancy, of course, in PUP. Her current positions are Partner Division Head, BPS Outsourcing, and of course, the President, PNA Grant Thornton and Grant Thornton Solutions Incorporated. Let us all welcome our first speaker for today, and again, we'll talk on the basic accounting. Let's all welcome Ms. Maria Paz V. Malubay.
So magandang umaga po. Thank you, Sir Kaloy, for that kind introduction. Salamat po sa imbitasyon na makasama kayo ngayong umaga. Inaasahan ko po na maging mabunga ang umaga natin o ang araw natin. Tunay nga pong nasa ibang panahon na tayo ang ating lecture. Before is face-to-face, now we have to do it through webinar. So ang dalangin ko po ay talagang may mga makikinig. No? Ang hirap pong makipag-usap sa computer. No? Hindi mo alam, nakikinig kaya sila. Kaya lang po alam natin that life must go on, or I should say learning must continue regardless of our situation. Actually, I salute all our students, parents, and teachers for all their hard work during our current situation. Hindi ko nga po ma-imagine if this kind of situation was during my student days. Kasi nung panahon ko po hindi po ako makabili ng books. Di lalo na po akong walang pambili ng gadget or computer. So hindi ko po alam paano may namanage ng mga bata ngayon yan. But before po maliit lang naman ang tuition pero hindi pa po kami makabili ng ng book. So salamat sa Diyos at nakatapos naman po kahit hiram-hiram lang yung books ko sa mababait kong schoolmates. And I'm so grateful for PUP because without PUP's very low tuition fee, I may not have finished my college education. Pero mas okay po ngayon, di ba, wala ng tuition. So ayun, I'm so happy, no? Actually, I really don't know PUP, but my sister told me na, di basta diyan ka sa PUP, magaling ang accountancy dyan. And I'm so glad and I did not regret that she told me to get accountancy in PUP. So I pray nga po that everyone is safe and healthy. With this webinar, I hope to provide practical accounting knowledge. So I'll be giving an overview of accounting and introduction to financial statements. So to start, let me give you po the definition of accounting. accounting is a systematic process of identifying, recording, measuring, classifying, summarizing, interpreting, and communicating financial information. So this is called the language of business. Let me expound on three things. So which are identifying, measuring, and communicating. When we say identifying, this is the process of recognition or non-recognition of business activities as accountable events or transactions affecting the business. And when we say measuring, this is the process of assigning amounts or value to the accountable economic transactions and events. This is to make sure that financial transactions shall be measurable by money or money's worth to properly record them in the books. And communicating, so this is the ultimate goal of having financial statements, and that is to communicate the result by distributing them or by making them available to our potential users after its preparation. So in reporting, we have a set of concepts and techniques that are used to prepare or measure our financial information. We have financial accounting reporting for external users and managerial accounting reporting for, as the name says, so management or internal users. So for financial accounting, we are using what was promulgated by standard setting bodies. We have PAS, PFRS, IAS, and IFRS in our country. We have Philippine Financial Reporting Standard, so that is the one being used. And this is for general purposes like the requirements by the government agencies or third-party users of financial statements. So we are using financial accounting. However, when we say managerial accounting, this is targeted for management purposes. So this is for internal use. As management, there are reports for specific needs of the management. So these reports are important for business planning, controlling, decision-making, or for other reasons that is important to the management. Let's move on to accounting elements. I know if you are an accounting student, so you are so familiar with these elements. So our first is asset. So we define assets as items or resources owned by the company that are used to generate revenue. So this can be cash, receivables, inventory, deposits, equipment, properties, and others. While liabilities, our next element, are items like loans, payable to your suppliers or employees, and also payables to our government agencies, like taxes and other items. Let's move on to equity. So as we all know, equity is the capital of the owners plus the earnings, accumulated earnings of the company over time. Then let's move on to revenues. When we say revenues, these are earnings, sales, or benefits of the company arising from the performance of services or sale of goods. So in bookkeeping, each company may use different terminologies. So sometimes it's earnings, sometimes it's sales, or sometimes it's revenue. And the last one is expenses. So we all know what expenses are. And these are payments necessary to operate and administer our business. Now, let's move on to bookkeeping. So when we say bookkeeping, so this is books of accounts, or accounting books or register where business transactions are recorded. So we have a number of those. So we have sales journal, cash receipts journal, purchase journal, cash disbursement journal, general journal, and general ledger. When we say sales journal, so this is used, so as the name suggests, sales transactions or revenue. You can see in the slide how the entries on the sales journal should look like, no? So there should always be debit and credit. And then let's move on to purchase journal. So on the other hand, so when we say purchase journal, hanap yan. Purchase journal on the other hand is used to record all purchases on account or hindi po agad binabayadan utang muna. So you will notice that the format of entries in these journal books are similar. So let's move on to cash disbursement journal. So this is used to record all cash payments. So if you pay your purchases on cash, so it will directly be recorded in cash disbursements journal. Next is our general journal. So this is used to record all other transactions not recorded in those books I enumerated earlier, no? So these are sometimes adjusting entries, depreciation of our assets, or sometimes there are errors that must be corrected. So those things are being reflected in our general journal. And finally, we have general ledger. So this is the book of final entry, and it comprises all individual accounts that summarizes all the debit and credit transactions. You can see from the slide that there are detailed information about each transaction, such as the date, description, and amount, as shown in the sample below. That summarize, so in our example, we use cash. No? So it summarizes all the cash transactions for the month, and each account should have this kind of summary in our general ledger. So each account, like revenue, assets, everything. So they must have a summary in our general ledger. To give you a taste of recording in our books of accounts, let me share with you the simple understanding of our debit and credit rules. So when we say assets, expenses, and dividends, their normal balance is debit. When we say normal balance, this means that in recording them, if there is an increase, it will be recorded as debit. While if you want to decrease it or if there is a reduction, it will be recorded as credits. On the other hand, so liabilities, revenues, or capital or equity, their normal balance is credit. So kabaliktaran naman po, no? So in recording them, increase will be credit, while if there are reductions, it will be recorded as debit. So in bookkeeping, we have what we call double entry. So at least 2 entries po. In fact, we all know that entries can be complex. So, but there should be at least 2 items that will be affected in the financial entries when we are doing the recording or the entries. To show you an example, so for example, so if the owner invested cash amounting to 1 million, there are 2 accounts affected as shown in the journal entry. Your cash will be debited and credit owner's equity. This will be posted in the general ledger, similar to what I showed you earlier. So in the right side of the slide, so you will see that there we put a sample of posting, cash in bank, and owner's equity. Another example is the company rendered services to XYZ company. So a debit will be made to accounts receivable, then a credit to service income or revenue. So it is accounts receivable because the presumption here is they did not pay immediately the services. So it will be paid later. So it is accounts receivable. So this will be posted also in our general ledger to reflect the transaction. So in this case, accounts receivable ang affected and our service income. So our last example is the company purchase computers. So a debit will be made to computer equipment and a credit to accounts payable, presuming that the computers were purchased on credit. So hindi po agad binayaran. No? So your general ledger will have postings for computer equipment and accounts payable as shown in our slide. So if now that we know how to make journal entries, let me share with you the basic financial statements. First is the statement of financial position. Nung panahon ko po, ang tawag namin dito ay balance sheet. This shows how much money and other assets a company has, how much it owes or its liabilities, and what is left when you net the two together, or the net is the net worth or equity. So it shows the financial condition of the company as of a given date. So if we would want to summarize or to have an equation of our financial position, so it should be assets equals liabilities plus equity. Now we will be showing you the sample statement of financial position. So you will notice that on our left side are assets, so that which compose of current assets and non-current assets. And on the other side, we have liabilities and equity. So you will note that they are tie up, no? Yung total assets and total liabilities and equity should be equal. So next is the statement of comprehensive income. So nung panahon po namin, we are calling it income statement. It reflects the profitability of the business and it shows the revenue, cost and expenses, and will show if at the end of the period, you'll have a net income or loss. So this is the formula po for our statement of comprehensive income. So revenue minus cost and expenses is equals net income or maybe net loss po, as I mentioned earlier. So let us show you the sample, very simple income statement of comprehensive income. So in other companies are calling it service fees or revenue. So then the other operating expenses was deducted, and then other expenses. So at the bottom you will see profit for the year and total comprehensive income. Now let's move on to changes in equity. So this is kind of simple po. So it reflects the addition or deduction in your capital investment. You will see here the changes in transactions with your shareholder, in changes in earnings or loss accumulated over a period of time. So let us show you the statement changes in equity. So simple lang po. So balance at the beginning of the year. So the share in capital, if you have beginning balance na retained earnings, and then profit for the year. So at the bottom, you will see the balance of your equity as of a certain period. Now, let's move on to statement of cash flows. So our cash flows reflect sources and uses of cash and shows cash activities of the business. So this statement summarizes the amount of cash and cash equivalent entering and leaving a company. So it measures how well a company manages its cash position. So meaning how well the company generates cash to pay its debt obligation and fund its operating expenses. Sobrang importante po ang cash flow because this will allow you to figure out if you still have cash for your expenses over a number of months or period. So let us show you the sample cash flow. So you will see that cash from the operating activities, which include profit before tax, adjustment. So because depreciation is not being affected by cash, so it's being added, and unrealized foreign exchange loss or gain. And then you will see also operating cash flows before working capital. So if there is an increase in decrease in due from parent company, so this will be reflected here. So it meaning all activities, all transactions that affected or affecting your cash will be reflected in this statement of cash flow. So you will see at the end that it will reflect the cash in bank at the end for a certain period of time. Now, let me show you that entries in the financial statement can be seen in other reports. So, for example, so as we will be showing, the total comprehensive income is shown in the statement of changes in equity affecting the retained earnings account. Then your retained earnings and capital are also shown in the statement of financial position. And the profit before tax is also reflected in the statement of cash flows. The ending balance should tie up with the cash account balance as shown in the statement of financial position. Pag nagagawa po tayo ng financial statements, we are looking at these things and make sure that they are really tie up, no? So those items that are being reflected in various financial statements. Now let's move on to what are the qualities of financial statements. So the information provided in the financial statements must be relevant. So relevance is very important po to the needs of its users. Although the main statutory recipients of these statements are shareholders, but there are many other stakeholders that rely on these statements during their decision-making processes, like fund providing institutions. So you cannot just get a loan without these banks, insurance companies, assets funding firms, and others. If you have potential investors for making investments in prospective companies, suppliers for the assessment of your credit rating, so the information provided in these financial statements must be relevant to the information needs of all these stakeholders, which could affect the economic decisions. The next is the information in our financial statements must be reliable and true. So reliability is very important. So the information is extracted to prepare these financial statements must be from reliable and trustworthy sources. The financial statements must depict the true and fair picture of the status of the company's affair. This means that the information provided must not have significant errors. No, siyempre po pag financial statement, dapat walang error, no? Significant errors or material misstatements. The transaction shown must be based on the concepts of prudence and must represent the true nature of company's transactions and operations. So the areas that needs judgmental and subjective in nature must be presented with due care and keen competency. Next is our financial statements are published to address the shareholders of the company. So it's very important that these statements must be prepared in such a manner that it's easy to understand and interpret for the sake of understandability. So the management must consider not only the statutory data and information, but also they must voluntarily disclose any information which would make financial statements easier to understand. And next is our financial statements must be prepared in such a way that they are comparable. So they must be comparable with prior year financial statements. So this characteristic of financial statements is very important to maintain, as it makes sure that the performance of the company could be monitored and compared. The characteristic is maintained from period to period and between different jurisdictions. So this enables the users of the financial statements to identify and plot trends and patterns. So if I'm the one analyzing the financial statements, I must be able to see the plot trends and patterns in the data provided, which makes my decision making easier. So if I have similar basis for my analysis, or that I can really compare those items because the information are really comparable, that should be the case. And last but not the least, so all the information in the financial statements must be provided within a relevant span of time. So parang kahit na nga po mag-perfect yung FS natin, pero kung late naman, no? So the disclosures must not excessively late or delayed, so that while making their economic decisions, the users of these statements possess all the relevant and up-to-date knowledge. Although this characteristic may take more resources, but still it is a vital characteristic, as delayed information makes any corrective action irrelevant. So sabi nga po ng mga company owners, kung may financial information ka at late na, hindi ka na maka-decide ng tama, no? So parang yung mga bagay na you should have addressed early on, hindi mo nagawa kung ang financial statements mo is parating late. So who are the users of financial statements or accounting information? So owners or proprietor, or if you have partners and other officers. So shareholders and investors, in case somebody is investing in your business. So we lenders or creditors, as mentioned earlier, like banks or any lending institution. This is very important to them to see your credit rating. So are you capable of paying your loans? So they are using the financial statements to determine your capacity to pay. And suppliers, most suppliers request for financial information. So similar, so if you are getting your supplies on account, so the suppliers will check your capacity to pay. And customers, so or we call them sometimes clients, so will request for financial statements to make sure that you can deliver on your promises based on your financial information. So they are looking at the figures in the financial statements. So more importantly, like equity. So how can you fund your business if you do not have enough capital? Again, let me emphasize that relevant, reliable, easy to understand, and comparable financial statements are necessary, and they must be provided on time. Having a complete and well-kept books of accounts is a must. This will give the business owner a clear understanding on how his business is doing. The information can be used to help make important business decisions. For example, do you have enough money to expand your business? Or could I meet my operating expenses in a given situation? Like this situation, paano po kung walang pumapasok na collection, kaya ko pa ba? Or it can also help me identify business opportunities for future growth. So that is the basic accounting and financial statements. I hope you will have some takeaways. Let me turn you over to Professor Caloy. Sana po.
Right, thank you for that very nice and informative basic accounting talk, Ms. Malubay. And now may I remind, or a gentle reminder to our participants that we will have only a maximum of 3 questions. If you have a question, you can send it now, and our dear speaker is more than willing to answer your questions. So Madam, I just want to have I just want to get your viewpoint on you have mentioned a while ago, Madam, on financial position. In your own viewpoint, Madam, how does the pandemic affect? I speak here in general. How does the pandemic affect the financial position of all organizations in your own viewpoint, Madam?
So depende po in what kind of business you are, no? Kasi there are businesses talaga na doing great. Actually, this time they are doing great, like yung mga online selling, so something like those. So they have still a very, I should say, good financial condition. In fact, sila talaga yung mga benefiting from this. IT companies, so those things. But for example, you are in a aviation so or airline, so that means you are not in a good position at this time. So it depends on what business you are in, but thank God that our business is essential. So auditing firm, or in my case is outsourcing, and we are doing the payroll of employees and bookkeeping. So somehow we are not so good, no, but good enough during this situation.
All right, thank you, Madam. Now, for the, I understand that our participants here. We'll be having the next question, ma'am. I hope you don't mind.
Yes, that's good.
Is there a requirement on online business to get an accountant for bookkeeping, or there is always a need for accounting in daily lives? This question comes from Ms. E. Medina or Mr. E. Medina. E. Medina. Thank you po.
Ako po, or maybe because I'm an accountant, no, but I would like to believe, no, and it's very important that you always have your financial statements. Kasi as I mentioned earlier, how would you know how are you doing, no, if you don't have your financial statements? And based on my experience, business owners are very good in their business, but sometimes they need help as far as bookkeeping is concerned. So I have a client na ang galing niyang mag-design, Pero sabi niya, but I really don't know about accounting. So it's very important that you have your books, or maybe you'll ask somebody to teach you. If not, you will pay somebody. But yes, whatever kind of business you have, it's always good that you have your financial statements. That will tell you if are you earning, is the business doing good? Because sometimes we are just depending on our cash on hand, but we are not aware of other items or other factors. So I would like to suggest that it's very important, even if you are in an online business, no? So you should also have your financials.
All right, so I understand, Madam, that our participants have raised their questions in this open forum. Since before we proceed to the next speaker, may I request, or we will proceed to the awarding of digital certificate. The awarding of digital certificate to our dear speaker for today. Again, I always have the privilege to call on our assistant to the vice president for student affairs and services, as well as the director for alumni relations and development office, to give the digital certificate. Let us welcome once again Engineer Florinda H. Oquindo.
Let me read. Office of the Vice President for Student Affairs and Services, Alumni Relations and Career Development Office. This certificate of appreciation is given to Ms. Maria Paz V. Malubay, Partner Division Head, BPS Outsourcing, President, PNA Grant Thornton Solutions Incorporation. In grateful acknowledgement of her engagement and insightful academic contribution as resource speaker, imparting unparalleled knowledge and expertise on basic accounting during the webinar series with the title BALIK SINTANG PAARALAN PUP Alumni Webinar Series, held on October 14, 2020, via Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook live stream. Signed, Engineer Florinda H. Oquindo, Director, Alumni Relations and Career Development Office. Dr. Sinaida R. Sarmiento, Vice President for Student Affairs and Services. Thank you so much, ma'am, for having your precious time shared with us. Thank you po.
Thank you. So thank you as well for the invitation. So I think I'm good now, sir.
Thank you very much again,
Yes,
Madam Malubay, and to our Vice President to Student Affairs and Services, and as well as the Director, Engineer Florinda H. Oquindo. And now, we're going to proceed on the second session for today. Our next speaker for today would tackle Professional Regulation Commission Career Progression and Specialization Program Initiative. Her current position is a member, Professional Regulatory Board of Accountancy. Her former positions, Vice President for Finance, PUP, and Dean, College of Accountancy, PUP. Let us all welcome our second speaker for today's webinar, Dr. Gloria J. Tolentino Baysa.
Good morning, everyone. First, I would like to thank the Office of the Vice President for Student Affairs and Services and Alumni Relations for this invitation, and also My congratulations to President Manuel Muhi. I would like to take this opportunity to share with you the Career Progression and Specialization Initiative of the Professional Regulation Commission, or PRC. The same paper I delivered as keynote last Friday, October 9, at the Royal Institution Singapore Virtual International Research Colloquium. As an introduction, we are now moving towards identifying the competencies of professionals no longer by their academic degrees, but by their qualification levels. In fact, PRC is to incorporate the PQF and AQRF levels of professionals on the PRC identification cards to be issued beginning May 2021. For those who are not that familiar with PQF, or the Philippine Qualifications Framework, and AQRF, the Asian Qualifications Reference Framework, both professionals and students do pay attention. Both professionals and students will need this. The professional will need the CPS for their career progression, while students will need this, for this will form part of the CPA licensure examination. Before I proceed, let me first Okay. PRC Chairman Chofilo Espilando Jr. impressed at the August 14, 2020 PRC Conference on Creating Career Roadmaps for Professional Excellence the need to elevate professional standards in this ever-changing landscape. He mentioned the demands for higher professional qualifications to meet globally acceptable standards and the possession of higher level proficiency and advanced skill set that earn recognition for local and overseas opportunities. Chairman Pilando was thus referring to career progression and specialization. This is parallel to the international certifications awarded by other private organizations globally. So, what is career progression and specialization, and why PRC? Career progression is defined in the Philippine Qualifications Framework as the process of developing or moving toward a more advanced state in a person's qualification, job title, position, or profession. It therefore outlines the route that one may follow to ensure a career development goal. Specialization, on the other hand, refers to the field of practice of a professional for a particular area of knowledge or the process of becoming an expert in a particular field of professional practice. PRC Commissioner Yolanda Reyes mentioned in the same conference that most countries require government-issued certifications, but we do not have a government body that issues certifications for professionals when most countries would only recognize government-issued certifications. And this is why PRC spearheaded the development of career progression and specialization, or CPS, on all its regulated professions. Section 4, Article 2 of Republic Act 10912 or the CPD Act of 2016 states not merely the development of mechanisms, but quality assured mechanisms to validate, accredit, and recognize formal, non-formal, and informal learning outcomes, including professional work experiences and prior learning. I am to present later these measures of quality assurance. Still under Section 4, Article 2 of the CPD law, the enhancement and upgrading of competencies and qualifications have to be pursuant to the Philippine Qualifications Framework, ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework, and the ASEAN Mutual Recognition Arrangements, and ensure international alignment of competencies and qualifications through career progression and specialization. Section 8, Article 2 of the said law provides for the powers, functions, and responsibilities of the CPD councils, and among which the development of mechanisms for the validation, accreditation, and recognition of self-directed learning, prior informal learning, online learning, and other learning processes through professional work experiences. I sent Ms. Jane a copy of the CPD matrix for your reference. You will find in the matrix the many ways to earn continuing professional development credits, the number of credit units per activity, and the necessary documents needed in order for you to claim the credit units. While Section 11, Article 3 of the same law states that all duly validated and recognized CPE credit units earned by a professional shall be accumulated and transferred through the various pathways and equivalencies of the Philippine Qualifications Framework. Thus, PRC, in its implementation of continuing professional development, has to be guided by the Philippine Qualifications Framework. This PQF I am to discuss later. Section 12, Article 2, on the other hand, states that the formulation and implementation of career progression and specialization, which form part of continuing professional development, rest with PRC and the professional regulatory boards like the Board of Accountancy or BOA, and of course, in consultation with the accredited professional organization, the Civil Service Commission, other government agencies, and industry stakeholders. Following the aforementioned legal basis, and in order to operationalize the provisions of the law, and to identify the employee or professional specific training standards, PRC issued Resolution 1117, Series 2018, on the formulation of guidelines on the creation and implementation of the career progression and specialization for the regulated professions. The creation phase includes the identification of career pathways, identification of career progression and specialization program qualification titles, and the procedures in the creation of the career progression and specialization program. For the implementation stage or phase, however, PRC has yet to reach this stage. PRC also issued Resolution 1262 Series 2020 for the creation of a career progression and specialization program, credit accumulation and transfer system, or CPSP CATS committee, and the CPS committees for each of the 44 PRC regulated professions. This is to assist respective continuing professional development councils and regulatory boards in order to devise mechanisms for the formulation and implementation of CPSP CATS. The role of PRC as mandated per the Philippine Qualifications Framework is on the next slide, while the role of each of the professional regulatory boards, like the Board of Accountancy, was at the earlier slide just presented. The Philippine Qualifications Framework is Republic Act number 10968. And it says there, institutionalized to encourage, etc. The mandate of which is the role of the PRC. The Philippine Qualifications Framework Law was established and described sorry, but I am okay. The levels of educational qualifications and set the standards for qualification outcomes. There are two essential elements of a national qualification framework. The ASEAN refers to the qualifications framework of the 10 ASEAN member states as National Qualifications Framework, while each member state, like the Philippines, refer to it as the Philippine Qualifications Framework. The two essential elements are the development of a set of levels of learnings and the assignment of qualification to the levels. This I am to elaborate later. For a quality assured national system, on the other hand, quality assurance has three important measures. First, validate the standards. Second, accredit and audit the educational and training institutions. And third, quality assure the assessment leading to the award of qualifications. The Philippine Qualifications Framework has these objectives: adopt national standards and levels, support development and maintenance. Okay, it went back. Align domestic qualification standards with international qualifications, thereby enhancing recognition of the value and comparability of Philippine qualifications and supporting the mobility of Filipino students and workers. This is the Philippine Qualifications Framework. It has 8 levels, but the 8 levels do not include basic education, which is up to grade 12. It starts with level 1 for the technical education and skills development, NC1, NC2, NC3, NC4, and diploma for level 5. While for higher education, level 6 is the baccalaureate, level 7 the post-baccalaureate, and level 8 the doctoral and post-doctoral programs. This is the first of the 2 elements of a national qualification framework, the development of a set of levels of learning. Take note that career progression and specialization is not yet in the diagram. This is the roadmap. Each Philippine qualification framework level has descriptors and competencies required in order to go to the next step based on 3 domains, which are knowledge, skills, and values, application, and degree of independence. On the next slides, we are going to focus on the descriptors, competencies, and the 3 domains: knowledge, skills, and values, application, and degree of independence. These are the Philippine Qualifications Framework descriptors for level 6. This is the second of the 2 elements of a national qualification framework, which is assignment of qualification to the levels. The 3 domains, knowledge, skills, and values, application, and degree of independence, they have the qualification descriptor. And the qualification type or level is baccalaureate degree. Take note that in the knowledge, skills, and values in level 6, these are broad and coherent. Application is simply application in a specialized field, while degree of independence is substantial. Let us look at level 7. In level 7, for the qualification type post-baccalaureate degree, knowledge, skills, and values is now advanced. Application requires self-direction and or leadership, and degree of independence is highly substantial. For level 8, wherein the qualification level or qualification type is doctoral degree and postdoctoral programs, knowledge, skills, and values is already highly advanced. Application in a highly specialized or complex multidisciplinary field of learning. Application is in a highly specialized, while degree of independence is finally full independence and significant level of expertise. Again, allow me to summarize the comparisons by level. For the first domain, knowledge, skills, and values, level 6, it is broad. Level 7, it is advanced. While in level 8, it is highly advanced. For the second domain, application, in level 6, it is simply application in a specialized field. In level 7, it requires self-direction and or leadership skills, while in level 8, it is already in a highly specialized field. For the last domain, degree of independence, level 6 is substantial, level 7, highly substantial, and level 8, full independence or significant level. These descriptors are the sources of career specialization and pathways. Your question now is, how does the ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework enter the picture? The ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework is the template of comparison among the national qualification frameworks in the 10 ASEAN member states. Take note that while the ASEAN Qualification Framework does not require changes in the national qualification frameworks of a country, yet it becomes a template for the comparison of the qualification frameworks. Let us look at an example of this. At the center, we have an 8-level qualification framework equivalent to that of the ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework. On the right, we have 9 levels of qualifications. And among the 10 ASEAN countries, Indonesia is one with 9 levels of qualification frameworks. Take note how the 9 levels of Indonesia are matched with the 8 levels in the ASEAN qualifications framework. On the right, we have 6 levels. Singapore is a country with 6 levels of qualifications, while Vietnam has 5 and Myanmar has 4. Take note how the 6 levels of qualifications in Singapore are matched with the referencing in the 8 levels of qualifications in the ASEAN Reference Qualification Framework. Therefore, the referencing to the ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework of 8 levels is because not all the national qualification frameworks of the ASEAN member states have the same number of qualification levels. Therefore, the national qualification framework of each of the 10 ASEAN member states is harmonized through the ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework. The question now is, what are the qualification agencies and what are the system of conferment of qualifications? These are the qualification agencies: TESDA for the national certifications to diploma, the Commission on Higher Education for the bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees, and the Professional Regulation Commission for the registered and licensed professionals. Take note that in the qualifications issued by PRC, we have only the basic, the license, because the career progression and specializations are not yet implemented. The system of conferment of qualification is this. TESDA has registered programs, and NC1, NC2, NC3, NC4 to diploma are awarded after competency assessments. The Commission on Higher Education has authorized higher education institutions, HEIs, with government permit, and awards these academic degrees: bachelor's for level 6, master's for level 7, and doctorate for level 8. And these are what we call the academic qualifications. On the part of the Professional Regulation Commission, there is no direct recognition of academic institutions. Instead, for the professional qualification, PRC confer to graduates who pass licensure examinations PQF level 6 or 7. Again, take note, the level 7 and 8 for the career progression and specialization are not included in year. And if you are wondering why PQF level 6 and 7 are conferred to graduates who pass the licensure examinations, because there are regulatory boards whose graduates are already awarded level 6, and upon passing the licensure examinations, they are awarded level 7. These are the 5 career progression and specialization pathways. First, academic. Second, professional. Third, creative, innovative work. Fourth, research. And the last one, leadership and management. Again, academic is through the Commission on Higher Education, through the diploma and transcript of records issued to those who completed, enrolled and completed a program and graduated in the program. Professional track by PRC is through the licenses and certificates issued by the Professional Regulation Commission, and as mentioned earlier, for level 6 or 7 for passing the licensure examinations, while level 7 and 8 are not yet implemented. For the last 3 pathways, creative, innovative work, research, and leadership and management, PRC Commissioner Jose Cueto Jr. said that these 3 can be developed, but they have not identified a government agency or body that will be in charge of conferring the awards or accreditation to the bodies which will be able to assist and award certifications to the professionals. For now, therefore, we limit to the academic track of CHED and the professional track of PRC for its 44 regulated profession. These are the certification levels as summarized for the academic and the professional. If the academic level 6 is college degree, 7 master's degree, and 8 doctoral degree and postdoctoral program, for the professional, 6 is the registered, passing the licensure examination, 7 is a specialization, and 8 is expertise that can be earned through continuing professional development. The question now is, what is a certification? What is a qualification? Republic Act 10968 or the Philippine Qualifications Framework Law defines qualification as the formal certification that a person has successfully achieved a specific learning outcomes relevant to the identified academic, industry, or community requirements. A qualification confers official recognition of value in the labor market and in further education and training. If you are wondering why the qualification confers official recognition of value in the labor market, it is because the higher is your qualification level, the higher also is your command for pay and benefits. Here is the Philippine qualification framework with the extension. Earlier, I showed you the Philippine qualifications framework only with 4 columns, the 8 levels, basic education, technical education and skills development, and higher education. But we will be adding now the last one as a result of the career progression and specialization. Generally, level 7 is called the fellow or grants the fellow or awards the fellow, and level 8, the diplomate. But not all the 44 regulatory boards under PRC use the same nomenclatures. There are other boards that use the other names for level 7 and level 8. Take note also the removal of level 6 in the professional column. The removal of level 6 in the qualification register is because the program is in career progression and specialization. If you are already a certified public accountant and eyeing for a career goal, you start by achieving level 7 and then level 8, no longer to achieve level 6. In the implementation stage, though, the descriptors for level 6, as we have discussed earlier, shall be used as guide to move up to level 7. Here is the Philippine qualifications framework for the Board of Medicine. Take note that for the last column, upon graduating, they already award level 6. And upon passing the licensure exam, they award level 7, which they call general practitioner. And for the accumulation through CPD of additional competencies, they award level 8 for the diplomate and or fellow. Let us now be specific to accountancy. Here is the Philippine qualifications framework for accountancy. Aside from the 4 earlier columns, the 8 levels, basic education, technical education, and skills development, and higher education, we have the last column. Take note, it is for level 7 and 8 only because of the removal of level 6. In accountancy, level 7 shall be advanced accountancy practice level, while level 8 is expert accountancy practice level. And I repeat, these advanced accountancy practice and expert accountancy practice levels, level 7 and 8, can only be earned through the accumulated continuing professional development units continuing professional development units earned by the professional. Let us now look at the career pathways and specializations in accountancy. Again, level 7, advanced accountancy practice, 8, expert accountancy practice. While accountancy practice per Republic Act 9298 or the Revised Accountancy Act of 2004 provides for the 4 tracks of career progression and specialization, which are public practice, commerce and industry practice, education or academe, and the government practice. Here is the application of the descriptors and the domains in accountancy. For level 7, take note that for the domain knowledge, skills, and values, we have the same as in the Philippine qualifications framework earlier presented. But for accountancy, we have to add acquired as a post-baccalaureate graduate of accountancy or any related field in any CHED-recognized school in the Philippines, has a valid license for certified public accountants given by PRC and PRBOA, and with at least 5 years of experience. The domain on application, the same as the PQF domain on application earlier presented, it just includes in the practice of the accountancy profession. Same with the degree of independence. In this domain, we have the same descriptor as in the PQF, but with the addition of in the practice of the accountancy profession. For level 8, the expert professional accountant, the first domain of level 8 in the PQF is the same, but we have an addition in accountancy. It says, acquired as a doctoral or postdoctoral graduate of accountancy or any related field in any CHED-recognized school in the Philippines, has a valid license for certified public accountants given by PRC and PRBOA with at least 10 years of experience. For application, the same as in the Philippine qualifications framework, except for the addition of in the practice of the accountancy profession. For the degree of independence, same as in the Philippine qualifications framework. Here is a sample of the positions for level 7 and level 8 in accountancy. Although there are 4 sectors of the profession, I chose to present only the sample positions in education or academe. Very easy and can be easily understood. For the other sectors of the profession, it will be a bit complicated, but in the Board of Accountancy, we also have the sample positions. For level 7, wherein the competency level goal is knowledge, understanding, application and analysis, synthesis, evaluation skills, the sample positions are assistant professor, take note no instructor because this is already level 7, associate professor, accounting department or department chair or head. For level 8, the expert level, wherein the competency level goal is mastery of skills, the sample positions in education or academe are Chancellor, Executive Vice President, Vice President, CEO, CFO, COO, Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dean, Full Professor, Professor 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, College Professor, and University Professor. Let us look at this diagram of career progression and specialization in the accountancy profession. Level 6, for the academic track, the turf of the Commission on Higher Education should be a graduate of a bachelor's in accountancy program complete with diploma and transcript of records. For the professional track, must pass the PRC licensure examinations to become a certified public accountant. And this is level 6. For level 7 and level 8, level 7, academic, completion of master's degree, complete with diploma and transcript of records. Therefore, these are enrolled in schools, and upon completion of the program and graduation, the degree or master's degree is awarded complete with diploma and transcript of records. While for the professional track in level 7, we need PRC validated and accredited CPD credit units earned in any of the 4 sectors of the profession, that is in public practice, commerce and industry practice, education or academe and government practice. For level 8, the academic track, the individual must have enrolled, completed, and graduated a doctoral or postdoctoral degree, complete with diploma and transcript of records. While for the professional track, PRC, validated and accredited, continuing professional development credit units earned in any of the 4 sectors based on the competency qualification descriptors. We belong to a regulated profession, so that even if we achieve the academic qualification but not the professional qualification, still we cannot practice the profession. This is my last slide. The organizational structure of the career progression and specialization. As mentioned earlier, the role of the Professional Regulation Commission is the one mandated in the Philippine Qualifications Framework, while the role of its regulatory board, like the Board of Accountancy, are those for the development, formulation, and development of mechanisms for the career progression and specialization program through the Continuing Professional Development Council and the Career Progression and Specialization Committee. CPD Council and CPS Committee recommends policy guidelines to the CPSP-CATS and then to the PRC Project Management Committee, while its specialty board for accountancy we have 4 specialty boards. For public practice, we have the ACPAP. For commerce and industry, we have the ACPAC. For government, we have the GACPA. And for the academe or education, we have the NACPAE. Each of these specialty boards will evaluate the documents presented by an applicant to determine the equivalent credit units of the competencies to the profession's CPSP CATS committee. Therefore, if, let's say, a faculty member of the College of Accountancy and Finance of PUP would like to apply for the Career Progression and Specialization Program Level 7, all the continuing professional development documents earned shall be presented to the NACPAE, the specialty board for the CPAs in academe or education, who will do the evaluation, and after which the specialty society NACPAE will now recommend the equivalent credit units to the CPS committee and then to the CPD council, the CPD council to the BOA, and then to the commission proper. Finally, may I reiterate that PRC is still in the process of policing the guidelines for the implementation of the Career Progression and Specialization Program and Credit Accumulation and Transfer System. We expect that in due time, this PRC program shall already be in place, and the professionals under the 44 regulatory professions of PRC could already benefit from their earned continuing professional development credit units that can be applied for career progression and specialization. With that, thank you and good morning.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Baysa, for that equally informative talk for the second session. And now we're going to proceed on the open forum. I would like to invite all our participants to raise questions, a maximum of 3 questions. While we are waiting for these questions, I hope Dr. Baysa, if I will ask the first question.
Okay, sir.
In what ways does domestic qualification standard meet the requirements of employers?
If we are to talk of the qualifications of Filipino professionals, not only locally but internationally, they are pretty much qualified, so that there is a demand for Filipino professionals anywhere in the world. Meaning, we follow the qualifications framework, descriptors, competencies, and levels. And I repeat, by May 2021, PRC will already be incorporating in the PRC IDs issued to professionals the PQF and AQRF level of its professional.
Right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Baysa. And now for the awarding of virtual certificate. Again, I had the
Sir
yes.
Kaloy, are there no questions? Are there no questions?
I think we are waiting for the questions, but I think the questions are being sent for this matter.
Okay, so So that even if you have already awarded the certificate of appreciation, I will still stay to be able to answer the questions from our participants because this is something new. And PRC has already completed the creation stage, but not yet on the implementation stage. PRC is still policing the mechanisms for the implementation. So professionals have to watch out for the implementation of this. Okay, Sir Kaloy?
All right. Very nice of you, Dr. Baysa. And now for the awarding of digital certificate. Again, I have the prestige and privilege to call on the Assistant to the Vice President for Student Affairs and Services, as well as the Director of Alumni Relations and Development Office. Again, may I call on Engineer Florinda H. Oquindo.
Good morning po. Good morning po to our
Good morning, Ma'am Oquindo.
Hi, ma'am. Good morning po. Good morning po, Ma'am Baysa. Thank you po for being with us today.
I am also thankful because this is very important and we would like to share it to one and all.
Yes, ma'am. We really appreciate it po. Okay, ma'am. Allow me to read the caption of the certificate. So, Office of the Vice President for Student Affairs and Services, Alumni Relations and Career Development Office. This certificate of appreciation is given to Dr. Gloria J. Tolentino Baysa, Member, Professional Regulatory Board of Accountancy, in grateful acknowledgement of her engagement and insightful academic contribution as research speaker, imparting unparalleled knowledge and expertise on Professional Regulation Commission, Career Progression and Specialization Program Initiative during the webinar series with the title BALIK SINTANG PAARALAN, held on October 14, 2020 via Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook live stream. Signed, Engineer Florinda H. Oquindo, Director, Alumni Relations and Career Development Office, and Dr. Sinaida R. Sarmiento, Vice President for Student Affairs and Services. Thank you po, ma'am, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought I will be seeing my student, the Vice President for Student Services, Dr. Sarmiento.
Yes, ma'am.
But
Naku,
he's
sorry
not
po. As of
around.
the moment
Oo.
po kasi she was attending an equally important meeting po at the boardroom. That's why hindi po siya makapunta. Pero dapat po siya yung magpo-closing ngayon eh.
I would like to also thank my Sintang Paaralan.
Yes, ma'am.
Where I spent a span of 50 years of my 70 years life at PUP.
Yes,
as faculty members and as an administrative official, yes, in various capacities. Thank you very much, may Sintang Paaralan.
Thank you, ma'am. Sana po ma-invite po ulit namin kayo in our future.
Yes, you are very welcome. All I need is you have to inform me immediately.
Yes, ma'am.
There are invitations from the college which I was able to attend, but there are also some which I was not able to attend because the invitation came to close. We have so many invitations from different schools, from different regions, from different organizations. So we need to receive the invitation earlier.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you po.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Gloria Baysa, and of course our first speaker, Ms. Maria Paz Malubay, for those informative and very important topics that you have tackled. And now for the closing remarks, may I call once again the Vice President to the Assistant to the Vice President for Student Affairs and Services, as well as the Director of Alumni Relations and Career Development Office. Let's welcome once again Engineer Florinda, for the closing remarks.
Hello po, good afternoon. So ako po ulit kasi supposed to be po dapat si Ma'am Sarmiento na po ito, but then bigla pong nagkaroon ng emergency meeting sa boardroom. Kaya on behalf of Dr. Sinaidar Sarmiento, pinapaabot niya po yung pasasalamat niya sa inyong lahat. So I would also like to acknowledge the participation of each and every one of you, for without your presence, so this webinar would not have been possible. So before I conclude this event, I would also like to acknowledge the participants, my ALUMNI family that helped to organize this event. So again, thank you po to all of you and have a great day ahead of us. Thank you po.
Thank you very much, Engineer Oquindo, for the closing remarks. And now, before we play the PUP hymn, may I thank once again, in behalf of the Vice President for Student Affairs and Services Office and Alumni Relations and Career Development Office, thank you for your participation, our dear speakers, our dear participants, for gracing this event. Let us now play the PUP hymn.
Thank you.